spoiler parts are theoretical spoilers.
Yeah, if you don't like theoretical spoilers, turn us off right now.
Welcome to Dumb Guys Talk About Smart Stuff.
So, I'm a big Old Republic fan.
Yeah.
And I'm reading through Aftermath. I got it sitting over here.
I've got Aftermath.
And I'm really trying to figure out where I think it might be going. And like I said, I watched some of those Reddit fan theory videos. One of the storylines that I've seen that kind of makes me the most excited, as far as like I like that idea, was that there's the artifacts thing going on, and Kylo Ren is after some artifacts.
Hold on a second. Can we back up for just 1 minute? Mm-hmm. Because I am not familiar with the storyline of the Old Republic. I played the game very briefly, and so maybe some of the reviewers don't know either. So what? Yeah, how does this tie in?
So there's big spoilers in this Old Republic. I'll try not to spoil that game as well, but
just in case, though.
Yeah, but basically that one has a character with a mask very similar to Kylo Ren, a guy that looks a lot like him, and he's a main character in that one. But that one almost has like a Star Wars meets Indiana Jones feel, to where you're going and finding ancient artifacts in their universe, almost like archaeological things, and getting them all together to find this big find.
Now, when you say this is what you're doing, is this the goal of the main character of the video game? Is this what you do?
Yeah, that's what you do. You go through finding these ancient artifacts to put them all together, and it's like a star map, and you put the star map together to know where the main thing you're looking for is, and that's where the main villain is waiting for you, is at this place.
Okay.
So it's almost like Indiana Jones meets Star Wars type of this feel to it.
Yeah.
And I almost thought, like, this plot line kind of sounds like that. They're putting together artifacts from the original series. Things like Luke Skywalker, Vader's helmet.
Luke Skywalker is an artifact?
No, this is lightsaber.
Oh,
Sorry.
it's lightsaber.
Okay.
Well, I've heard actually that lightsaber that Finn has is Anakin's.
Yeah, the
blue one.
The blue one that
became Luke Skywalker's and then got passed on.
He dropped it when his hand got cut off.
Yeah.
Then he changed to the green one in Jedi.
Yeah.
So it's the blue one, and so Kylo Ren wants these things. So another thing in the Old Republic is the Sith did these rituals to where they would gather together, and they might have artifacts and things like that to make things happen. And in the MMO game that came after, there's this emperor that lived to be like 1,000 years old because of these rituals. So my thing is that Kylo Ren, the theory I saw was Kylo Ren might be getting all these things together to perform one of those rituals to bring an old character like Darth Vader or Plagueis back to life. Which I thought that would be a way to bring back Vader, or have Plagueis, who was, that story might have been the best part of the prequels, the
Darth
Plagueis story. So I think that's a way that, like, you could end the movie with one of those characters appearing, bring back to life, and setting up, like, one of those guys is going to be in episode 8.
How much from the expanded universe that is no longer canon do you think they will borrow from for the Force Awakens?
You know, I've been watching that in Aftermath, and they were giving little subtle hints. Like, they talk about where the Sith came from, and it's very similar to the extended universe story.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing; it's very subtle, right?
Yeah, it's like they're using the same skeleton.
Just like how Episode 3 used a little bit from the expanded universe with Plagueis. Gave you just a little bit. So, although that theory is interesting, do you really think they're going to rely on that much of the expanded universe for this brand new movie that's very anticipated?
That doesn't really rely on the expanded universe that much. It's kind of like they're borrowing from Old Republic.
Well, it sounds like they're borrowing a whole lot, though. I mean, the whole scenario of searching down these relics to perform a ritual to bring back an old character. I mean, this sounds...
Well, that wasn't what you did in the other. You researched relics to find out where something is in the other one.
Yeah.
But there's got to be a reason why this Kylo Ren seems to want these things.
Right.
And why...
Well, again, these are very speculative theories, because we don't know that he wants any of this stuff.
We don't.
These are just theories that have been thrown out there, so we're taking those theories and speculating on
another theory is just that the Finn guy demonstrates force powers, and Kylo Ren is after him because of that.
Yeah, right. Interesting that he is not confirmed to come back in the next movie, but he's the only one besides Kylo Ren who has Force powers in Episode 7. Like, it seems
that we know of.
That we know of.
I mean,
right?
there could be
Besides
a twist.
Luke.
Yeah. I mean, there could be a great twist. Another spoiler type thing could be like everyone thinks Finn is the next Luke Skywalker's apprentice or whatever.
Right.
That there's a twist at the end that maybe
Right. He's
somebody
not.
else is. He's
Yeah.
not.
He's the real Darth Vader.
But I mean, that theory might be out there, but that one was like, that'd be cool if that's what happened. Like the end of the movie is like Darth Vader coming back from the dead.
Yeah. Do you want Darth Vader to come back? Would you be okay with that?
The one problem I have is it kind of undoes the story arc of the first 6, which, you know, when you add the prequel, the story
Yeah.
arc is kind of his fall and then redemption.
Right.
So it kind of undoes that if he's bad again.
It does. And what, you know, I would just be afraid of what they would do to that character, taking him farther. Like, they could take this character that, you know, everybody, you know, loves and fears and all this, and they can kind of damage that memory that we
So
have.
what about it being Plagueis?
Now, Plagueis sounds extremely interesting to me.
And what about that concept art? I showed you how similar it is to the Plagueis toy.
Yes, right. Yeah, the staff.
The staff, the red lightsaber, the long face, the same mask.
Yeah. Where do you get the mask? What's the mask?
It's kind of similar to Kylo Ren's, but it only goes over the mouth type of a mask that Plagueis had.
Right. So
Yeah.
where do you see this mask in the Force Awakens stuff?
The concept, that leaked, supposed leaked concept art, the one where, what is it? It looks kind of like Daisy Ridley's character's in the foreground, holding a lightsaber.
I remember seeing something where there was a mask, but I always thought it turned out
This
to be
one right
Kylo
here.
Ren.
So right here. See, he's got,
Oh, hold on. Which one is that?
you can see he's got a little mask that just goes over his face, and that looks a lot like Plagueis. And also, talking about that twist of maybe a different one, here's that blue lightsaber in a female character's hand.
Yeah, your Google works better than mine.
I googled leaked concept art Force Awakens. And it was the third result.
Darth Vader came up there. Force Awakens. There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? That really does have a resemblance to Plagueis, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. At least that toy and stuff.
Yeah. For sure. Who's that laying in the background, dude? That looks like Han Solo a little bit.
Yeah. It almost looks like that guy might have like a ponytail or something.
Really? Think so?
Kind of maybe longer hair. I don't know.
The hair's not gray enough, though.
Yeah, the hair's not very gray. It looks younger.
Yeah.
And who knows, because for example, leaked concept art I saw from, was it episode 1? It had that witch looking character, and that became, what's his name, the double blade lightsaber guy.
Oh, right.
And so it didn't look anything like the concept art in the end.
Yeah, Darth Maul.
Darth Maul, yeah.
So it started out for,
And this was leaked a long time ago.
it was a very long time ago. This was like the first leaked photos I think we ever saw come
And this
out.
looks like almost like it belongs in a comic book or something like that type of drawing.
Yeah.
So it might have been leaked from another source other than the movie.
Yeah. I mean, you know, there's so many fakes out there too, so you never know what you're gonna get.
But I think the people that made that theory I was talking about were pointing this picture quite a bit.
The whole Plagueis thing, to me, I feel like they might tap into that. So it was made canon by putting it in episode 3.
And isn't the Plagueis book canon?
I don't think the Plagueis book's canon.
It's not,
No, that's
okay.
expanded universe stuff. But I think that's where I don't know what came first, the book or the movie.
I think the book came after the movie.
The book came after the movie. Oh, well, it's definitely not canon
Yeah.
because they basically erased everything. but I think there's a huge fan base for Plagueis, and to save that character and put him in, further expose him into the canon, that seems reasonable to me.
Yeah, well, it's kind of the only example of good storytelling in the first three. One of the few examples of good storytelling in the first three movies.
Yeah,
Not,
yeah.
Well, the prequel movies.
Prequels, yeah.
So, do you have a theory?
Not really. I
Really?
mean, for one, I've been trying to avoid all the spoilers that you just revealed to me with all of these, fan predictions and Reddit stuff. But no, I'm kind of just sitting back, and I'm just hoping to see Luke Skywalker do some cool stuff, and hoping that they don't kill off Han Solo. And I really want them to create a 3-movie arc.
Yeah, because to me, I don't have much doubt that this movie's going to be good. My concern is 3 movies from now, what's Disney going to be still be doing?
Right. That was always my biggest problem with the prequels. It's the episode 1 does not even feel like it should go with the rest of the movies.
Yeah.
And it spreads it out over such a long period of time. Whereas the first movies, it was really just a short little period of time. And you're dealing with, large-scale problems, but being dealt with on smaller scales.
Yeah.
Whereas the prequels was just this huge, epic, drawn-out war.
Yeah, trade negotiations, Senate meetings.
And that stuff could be in there, but it should be more of a passing conversation than...
Well, the big knock I have is, like, it has... this spot, this first movie, and it's like Anakin's a little kid, and it skips like 15, 17 years, something like that.
I think he's 9.
Okay.
In the
So
episode
not
1,
maybe
and then
more like
he's
10 or
17.
11 years. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
then he's
10 or-
17. Yeah, so it's
So not that long, and then it kind of, and there's not that much happening in episode 1. It's just like a little trade negotiation standoff type of thing.
yeah.
Then episode 2 happens, and it's very political. A love story where they have the same dialogue 3 times in the movie, Anakin and Padme.
Yeah, right.
And
Yeah,
I
they
was
keep-
fast forward to
they
the
keep
middle of that movie.
Revisiting it over and over
Yeah,
again.
and then it skips. Then it starts the Clone Wars, skips to the end of the Clone Wars at the start of part 3, and it's like you skipped the most interesting part to me. And I think that's why they had such a easy time making the Clone Wars cartoons
Right.
good, because they skipped
Yeah.
probably the best part of that story.
Well, and that's why the Clone Wars cartoon is kind of more appealing to a lot of people, because it goes back to that focusing on smaller stories. You get to know the characters a little bit more, and you kind of get to appreciate these characters rather than just whipping through it so that you can get to the end.
Yeah.
It just felt like they rushed. They're like, let's cram all of this in so we can get to the end and see Anakin turn to Darth Vader.
Yeah. Also, to kind of put the fan theories in perspective, I went back to the fan theories of episode 3, and they had some better theories that would turn out in the movie. Like they had the twist, they had the thing of like General Grievous taking his mask off and being Darth Maul. Fan theories like that,
Oh wow.
which would have been a better twist than what happened.
That would have been interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they underdeveloped Grievous as well.
Grievous, Darth Maul, Count Dooku. They introduced, and I think Mace Windu.
Yeah.
And they kind of introduced these kind of pretty cool characters, and then they just kind of introduced them, and kill them off.
Yeah. Right.
And then they spent 3 conversations with Padme and Anakin saying the same thing over and over again.
Yeah. Right. But they were struggling. They were struggling with their love.
But yeah. For 45 minutes in the middle of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of.
And then they don't introduce Count Dooku till the very end
Mhm.
of that movie. Then they kill him right at the beginning of episode 3.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's lame.
Mhm.
There's a lot of lame stuff. There's still a lot of good stuff because obviously we watch them and we watch them over again. I mean, I've seen the prequels a million times.
Yeah.
And I'll watch them and I'll be like, oh man, I hate this part, or I can't believe they're doing this, or it looks awful with the special effects. But I still watch it.
Yeah.
There's still lightsabers.
The one thing I do like is you did get the expanded, like here's 20 Jedi fighting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And here's more powerful Jedi, more experienced Jedi. But they kind of underutilized that, I thought.
Yeah.
Like-
Well, you do get to see Yoda fight. You get to see Yoda get kind of crazy,
Yeah.
which is interesting and stuff like that.
And I kind of did like the Emperor versus Mace Windu battle. It was kind of in the middle of episode 3.
Yeah, I don't
think
know.
it's got some. It's got some undertones to it. Like you could say, like the Emperor lost on purpose.
Yeah,
You could, or you could say Mace Windu beat him. Or,
I think he did lose on purpose, though. I think the whole purpose of that was all in his plan to get Anakin there to turn Anakin.
Well, I think that could be fans interjecting a better story than what really was there. Too.
Right. Yeah, perhaps.
Because that would kind of add some depth to the story, like him losing on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like he's losing when Anakin